Hello, welcome back to another episode of Man Yells at Sports with your host, Ben McLeish. Today, I'd like to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers losing again in the playoffs this year to the New York Knicks in 6 games. A trio of Villanova kids led the way for the Knicks, hometown anti-heroes, as I'd like to call them.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
That's right, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart combined for 80 of the Knicks' 118 points. They waltzed into Philadelphia less than 20 miles away from where they played college ball, and they ended the 76ers season. So what I want to know is, why do the 76ers not have any of these players on their team? Villanova won championships in 2016 and 2018, so why does the closest NBA team to their home court not have any of the players? Well, the 76ers had the number 1 overall pick in 2017 when Josh Hart was drafted, so it makes sense that they did not get him. Hart was selected with the 30th pick, and with the first pick overall, the 76ers took Markelle Fultz, which ended up being a laughably bad pick when Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox were on the board. Nonetheless, Hart has been traded 3 times since he entered the NBA, so the 76ers definitely could have snatched them up if they wanted. But the real travesty for the 76ers was the next year in the 2018 NBA draft. Villanova was coming off of a national championship, and there were 4 players projected to go in the first round. So what do the 76ers do? They actually make a great pick, selecting Mikal Bridges 10th overall from Villanova. He grew up in Philadelphia, went to school in Philadelphia, then got drafted by the Philadelphia basketball team. What a dream! But not so fast. Later that night, the 76ers would trade Bridges for a 2021 first-round pick and Zaire Smith. Who? Zaire Smith would go on to do absolutely nothing in the NBA, while Mikal Bridges butted into a 3-and-D star now on the Nets, averaging almost 20 points per game. Zaire Smith is out of the league. What a terrible decision by the 76ers, but it's okay. They still have 1 more pick in the first round, the 26th overall pick, and 2 Villanova boys are still on the board. DiVincenzo would end up being picked 17th overall to Milwaukee, but Jalen Brunson is still on the board. The 76ers still have a chance to bring the kid back to Philadelphia. And what did they do? They did not draft Brunson. They did not draft the other Villanova kid, Omari Spellman. They drafted Landry Shamet, who only spent 1 year in Philadelphia and has only averaged over 10 points per game once in his career. Shamet is no scrub, but he is not Jalen frickin' Brunson, who averaged over 28 points per game this year and led the Knicks past the 76ers in the playoffs. So the 76ers passed on Josh Hart. They passed on Dante DiVincenzo. They passed on Jalen Brunson, and those 3 players came into Philadelphia, into the Wells Fargo Center, and dominated the 76ers, defeating them in the playoffs. I mean, how embarrassing is that? Philadelphia, you're supposed to support your own. It's the city of brotherly love. You're supposed to want to draft the guys from your area, but no, they passed on all 3 players, and now they finally got their revenge in Philadelphia, near where they grew up. They eliminated their hometown team. They got revenge on the team that could have drafted them, but didn't. Instead, they went with Zaire Smith and Landry Shamet. Philadelphia, you deserve everything that's been happening to you. This marks the 7th year in a row the Sixers made the playoffs, and also the 7th year in a row they failed to make the conference finals. I think anyone left that still trusts the process also thinks that this is the Cowboys' year. I mean, every year it's the same old thing for the Sixers. They have promising regular seasons, and they get to the playoffs, and they just can't do anything. I think it's time for the 76ers to do something drastic. I mean, they send out the same team year after year and expect different results. That is the definition of insanity. They've had 3 different head coaches in the last 7 years, so clearly that is not the problem. I think the 76ers need to clean house, getting rid of every player except Tyrese Maxey. Yes, that includes getting rid of Joel Embiid. Yes, I know he is a perennial MVP candidate. Yes, I know he is one of the best players in the league, but it is just not working in Philadelphia. I mean, what is the only common factor of the last 7 years? The only common factor is him. It's Embiid. He is the only main piece to be on this team to see all of the regular season success and none of the playoff success. So yes, I know it is a crazy idea, and I know 76ers fans would not want to see him go. But do you really want the 76ers to trot out the same team year after year? I mean, what do you think is going to be different next year? Tyrese Maxey has proved that he can be the star. He's proved that he can lead a team. He even outshined Embiid at points in the playoffs. Philadelphia, it's time to hand over the keys to Maxey. It's his team now. Trade Embiid. Trade everybody for whatever you can get. Young talent, bench depth, whatever, because you're going to need it. There needs to be a new era in Philadelphia or nothing is going to change. But Philadelphia, if you love Joel Embiid so much, if you love Tobias Harris so much, have fun with mediocrity.